Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. You attract women according to your presentation. According to your presentation. And this kind of goes with your signature style thing. But let me go a little bit deeper, a little bit raw. Y'all know how y'all like car Rom, because car Rom goes raw. And I'm going to tell you what. Even though women choose who they want, they generally stay in their lane. So when they choose a guy, they generally choose a guy that's in their lane. Now remember, I've talked several times about women choosing a man according to their social class, according to their subculture, and all of that. When you look like you in a woman's social class or her subculture, she'll pay attention more. She'll pay attention more. Now, the thing is, you got control over that. You got control over that. So depending on how you present yourself, how you cut your hair, and everything like that, you will get women according to that. Now, let me use the haircut thing for example. Now, I'm always saying let the barber bless you, but depending on how the barber bless you, you're going to get certain type of women. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me turn this car on first. You're going to get certain type of women. Like, for example, let me use two examples. Say you want that upper middle class woman, right? Your ass need to look clean. You need to have like that professional type of corporate type of haircut, right? But say you want one of those maybe bohemian type of women, one of those hippie type of women, right? You could probably let your hair grow out in locks or let it grow a little bit wilder. Or like even how I'm letting my beard grow out some. The women I would tend to attract would tend to be more in that working class range. More of those working class type of women. Right? And really sometimes those bohemian women too. Those bohemian women. I actually like bohemian women. Maybe that's why I haven't cut this in a while. I don't know. But whatever the case, you got control over that. In fact, Master Teacher BGS, he had picked that up about me when I first got started. He said, he picked up I kept changing my look. He said, oh, okay, he's used to dealing with different social classes and stuff. But the thing is, the beauty of it is you got control over it. So, but see, sometimes men will want something and they don't have that looks. Like, say you want that baddie. You want that baddie, you know, that woman who is always fly and all of that. Are you presenting yourself as fly? Not just your haircut, but your clothes and everything. You got to have a certain look for them. You got to have a certain look. But see, if you just got some plain look or something, you ain't going to get those baddies. You might not get those professional women. You're not looking like you'll get those bohemian type of women. You'll get women who might pay attention to you along who look plain. In fact, you might get a lot of plain Janes. You might get a lot of plain Janes. You want to be a bland Bob. Bland Bob. I don't know if I'm making that up or not. I don't know. But if you want to be a bland Bob, the women you going to get is a plain Jane. Like, you ain't going to get that woman who's real fly and everything. Or those women who look like, as the pimp god will call them, acceptable hoes or something. Like, I knew this one young lady, and she was actually one of my earliest supporters, too. But she always looked fly. She always fixed herself up fly. But then the guys she got were, like, top-level guys as far as their money. Now, I love her to death, but she was an acceptable hoe. I mean, you know, if she see that, ain't nothing against you, baby. But still, I'm just calling it like it is. You know it, too, because you know you used to get money out of dudes. In fact, I was trying to get that one young lady on here to, like, give y'all some game. She was telling me some of the games she was running on these guys to get money out of them. But That's the most important thing, though, your presentation. And see, here's the beauty of it. You control it. You control it. See, the thing is, all these women out here aren't alike. But if you want to get a certain type of woman, you got to figure it out. Okay, like if you want to get a certain class of woman, what you going to be? Like some dudes be getting mad at some women going for thugs or something like that. Well, do you look like a thug? I wouldn't want those type of women, but if for whatever reason you want those women, you want those ratchet types, wait a minute. Yeah. If you want those ratchet types or something, well, are you looking ratchet yourself? Or if for some crazy reason you want some dirty ass woman, you want one of those homeless type of women, you looking homeless yourself? Shit, I remember when I was living at my last apartment, had a couple of those double divers come through. It was a man and a woman. They had galoshes on and everything. They looked like it though. And I remember when I was working on one of my 1,000 jobs, right? And I had this woman there. She was a freakin'. But other guys were trying to get at her. She was sexy, but she wasn't showing any interest in the guys. I was like, y'all too clean cut. Y'all too clean cut for it. Y'all need to look a little rough like her. Because she was that type who put on the first 3 things she stepped on. But, see, here's the thing. Even though guys yet like to throw that word hypergamy around, hypergamy really mean a woman moving up in social class. That's what it means. And only women who can really practice hypergamy are very attractive women. And even when they want to move up, they going to dress a certain way. They going to look a certain way because that's what they want. But see, they ain't about what they want. It's about you controlling as a man the type of women that you're going to get, the type of women who going to check you out. Because, like I said, I can switch up because I've dealt with different social classes. And if I happen to want something or like that, I'll change up my look. In fact, I don't even feel like sharing it. It was like one time I was with this upper middle class woman. I showed that shit 1,000 times. But I was dressed like it. All of this came off. In fact, I remember when I was driving because the event was happening in Richmond, and for some reason I forgot my watches. I actually stopped on the way down there to get a watch because I knew the type of crowd I was around. I knew the type of crowd. I couldn't look working class, or I couldn't look like I was, just some regular old dude. Indeed, when they would ask me what I was doing, I was like, oh, I'm just in media. That's all. That's it. But you gotta, whatever you want, like you gotta think how you dressing, how you looking. One of the things you gotta think about is, 2 things. 1, you gotta be comfortable with it. 2, it has to be depending on what type of woman that you're trying to get. Like, if you're trying to get that upper middle class woman, don't think if you're looking like that thug or something that you're going to get her. Or even these guys out here talking about some Chad. Chad looks upper middle class. The women in, because I had mentioned that several times, like a woman in a trailer park, she ain't messing with Chad. She want that dude, got his hair cut low, maybe some facial hair, got some tats, and smoking a cigarette just right along with her. Maybe a little rougher look. And if that's what you want, that's what you have to present. If you want something else, you got to present something else. Like everything, your clothes style. Like on my sit-down video today, I talked about your signature style. Let's get into that for a second. Your clothes, what do your clothes say about you? Because as may rest in peace, Kevin Samuels has said several times, your clothes are a uniform. Your clothes are a uniform. In fact, when I get some Bammers who try to act like that don't matter, I already know they don't get any play. They don't really understand the game. because your clothes are uniform. If you really, like any professional sociologist, anybody who really paying attention to classes and subcultures, there's always an aesthetic. There's always a certain aesthetic. Now, you wearing whatever you represent your aesthetic is good if that's what you want. But then if you want to learn game to get different types of women in different types of areas, you got to first learn, okay, what is their class? What's their subculture? All right, how are they dressing? You got to pay attention to that. How are they wearing their hair? Yeah, because like I said, you might not be able to wear like those locks or that long hair or whatever. You got to have a certain cut. You got to have a certain look to you. I remember I was at the barber shop. I had mentioned this before. There was an Asian guy there. But I could tell by his speech intonation, how he was walking, how he got his hair cut. He'd been around some brothers. And, I was like, okay, that's cool. And that was telling me everything about him. But you got to understand that. But see, here's the beauty of it. And I can't emphasize this enough. You got control over it. You have to figure out what you want to do. Yeah. I'm up here a certain type of morning. Everybody stuck at the light. Damn, that's a long ass light. Whatever the case. Anyway, but you have control over your presentation. Then if you want a certain type of woman or you want a certain look to you, you can control that. Shoot, really, your look even extend to your body. Your look even, as someone pointed out on my Patreon, he said if you're dealing with more upper class women, they might go for somebody who's slimmer, but you going for more lower class women, they'll go for somebody who got some body build on. And see, when a woman's looking for a man, they ain't just looking for somebody they can have sex with or hang out with. They thinking about their environment too. Because one thing, if you're dealing with a more upper class woman, her environment might be being around, men and women who hit the gym more often. Because you notice, like, gyms, you'll have a ton of gyms in areas where they got money. But you'd be hard pressed to find one in maybe a more lower class area. So when a woman is dealing with or looking for that type of man who's more upper class, yeah, he can be all slimmer. But if they more in the hood, trailer park, res, favela, whatever, they might want somebody who look like they can fuck somebody up. They might want somebody who stand out there. Also, as far as how they dress, and that's somebody who dress like, well, quite frankly, they're a mark. That's why I say, even some of these guys thinking, oh, Chad wouldn't do well in a trailer park. He would not do well. In fact, he might get robbed. He come walking through a trailer park, some dudes thinking, oh, yeah, we're going to get him. He too clean cut. But if Chad just stick with some upper middle class women, hey, he's perfect for it. He's perfect for it. And that's the thing. That's the thing, when you got to think about what you want, though. Because no matter what, it's still under your control. It's still under your control. Even if it's women who ain't in a class or subculture you want. You got to figure out, like, first where the women at, and then the subculture, and then you might can switch up. And you got control over it. You got control over it. And that's the thing that you want. As a man, you want to be able to control the type of women who are going to come at you. You got control. It's not just like, you got some people, they say, well, it's luck, it's luck, it's luck. It's like, no. Know who you going for and know what you want to do. And I'm going to tell you what, ironically, I learned that doing sales. I learned that doing sales because not so much the look. I couldn't change up the look. I had to just pick a look. But depending on where it was, could definitely code switch and do like different speech intonations. You know, could talk to maybe those lower class women and be like, yeah, what's up, girl? Yeah, girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why don't you check this joint out right here? But then those more upper class women say, oh yeah, I have these good products right here. You know? And it's having that control, then be able to switch up and deal with different women. And then if I know, like, you know, that instance I said I was dealing with some more upper class ones, you know, all of this comes off. Look clean cut. But then if I'm in the hood, HODD, just go with the spelling, just go with it. Shit. You know, I could look a little bit rougher. Or if I don't care to be bothered, I just know to dress plainly. Apparently that don't work though. You know what's funny around here? I can be coming from the gym, have all this on there, still getting some women saying hi to me. Yeah, but they see everything I have to present. It's an interesting area. But that's the thing. You want to have control over your presentation. They're going to come for whoever you are. And if you having trouble, like say you having trouble. See, that's the problem with a lot of guys. They having trouble. They not really paying attention to their environment. They ain't paying attention to the women in their environment. You know? Like, say for whatever reason, they're around or even working around more lower class women, but they more upper class. And these women ain't giving them any attention. It was like, man, your presentation. You don't look good enough for them. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just ain't looking good enough. Because let me get back into the hypergamy thing. It's really gotten wrong. See, here's a major issue. Dudes make the mistake of thinking women just go for the top men no matter what. Nah, women go for it. Women stay in their lane more. It's only a few women who are really, as Master Teacher BGS would call them, 100 octane. There's only a few women who can go for that top man. And they got to be very, very attractive. But, you know, most women, let's just be real, most women are what I would call in the 4 to 6 range. Ain't even a 7. Indeed, a 7 to some men will look like a dime because they stand out. But most women are 4 to 6. Most women, they stay in whatever their lane is. Because think about the root word of the word relationship, relate. They want a guy they can relate to. Like, I'll use the example again where I used to live. Right across the hall from me was a young lady who, looking back at it, probably was on Section 8, but she smoked all the time. All the time. And it looked rough over there. It looked rough. And she looked rough. And there were like about 2 guys she dealt with while I knew her, while I was still living over there. And both of them looked like they fit into her subculture. But if a guy was looking too clean cut, too upper middle class, she wouldn't give him the time of day. First of all, they couldn't share cigarettes. They couldn't drink or something. In fact, there was another woman that lived across the hall. Oh, she was rough looking, but she would always, like, because I was still working on this full-time job, and I would have to get up real early to go to work. And it never failed. I'd be walking out to my car, it'd be like some homeless looking dude coming out of her place. She used to mess with like homeless type of dudes, but then that's who she was. That's what she looked like. That was their presentation. That's what she responded to. See, it's important because if you really pay attention to, like, here's what you do. Here's some homework for everybody. Really pay attention to people and, like, pay attention, not just their looks or, like, I know with men, we just looking at the progression. You know I got to do it, y'all. You know I got to do it. We just looking at their face card, their breastises, their snatch waist, their butt dunk, their round hips, their thick thighs, which save lives. You know, calves, all of that. We just looking at their body. We ain't thinking about it. But next time y'all go out, whenever y'all go out, y'all see couples together, look at everything. Not just their physicality, but look at the clothes they wearing. Look at their haircut. Look at everything like that. And I would say in not every case, because there's always an exception, but in most cases, I would say 98% of cases, they gonna look like they belong together. They gonna look like it. Like I knew this one young lady, and may she rest in peace, but we won't go into that. She was tatted like crazy, real sweet, but tatted like crazy. Who was her man? A guy who was a tattoo artist, who was tatted too like crazy. When you see two people together, you're gonna look for not so much, I mean, sometimes the like actual physical structure, but that gets into something deeper. But look at like their clothes or their where they have jewelry, something like that. Like when you see some of these bad and bougie women out here, you know, they real fixed up or something. The guys they will tend to go for will be bad and bougie guys. Or you see some of these women more in that bohemian thing, that hippie thing. You know, they got beads and all of that. Sipping some tea. Might use a lot of shea butter. The guys they tend to go for tend to look the same, tend to have the same vibe to them. Or you see some of those upper middle class or rich, wealthy women, the guys they go for. Like I knew this young lady who she was more in that wealthy look. That's who she would get with. That's who she would get with. Because we were IG friends for a while. But that's who she would get with. When you checking out any couples, they will I say 9 times out of 10, they gonna be look alike, not so much in their physical appearance. Because like I say, that's deeper, but they're gonna look alike in their presentation, how they wear their clothes, tats, stuff like that. Haircut styles, all of that. Yeah. It's early in the morning, y'all, so I'll be stopping a few times. They'll have something. But that all comes down to not even what she doing, but what you doing. If you want a certain type of woman, do that. If you want a woman, period, do that. Like if you got a certain style to you, certain aesthetic, certain way you do stuff, figure out, first look in the mirror and know who you are, know what your presentation is, and then get your ass out the house and look around and find the women who are down for it. And you'll know it even if you just go out, walk around, go someplace where there's a bunch of people, which women checking you out, which women aren't. And they will tend to go for it. And like I said, it's not so much about the physical look as it is about the clothing, the style, what social class you look at, like you're in, and everything. But you have control over it. That's the main thing. You have control. It's no luck. Because if you understand what you control, you have more control over the type of women who are going to come for you. You have control. See, that's the main thing. You have control. You have control over it. Like if I want, like right now, if I say, nah, I just want upper middle class or wealthy women, all of this would have been gone. All of this would have been gone. And I would wear some of my more flyer clothes when I'm out. But see, I prefer to look more working class. And you know what's ironic? When I look at the women I've dealt with, mainly with Master Teacher BGS would call 92 Octanes corporate women. But then that's when I was working more corporate. So I was looking more corporate. But now, I be just chill. Ron wants to chill. So you wanna like really pay attention to that. You really wanna think about your presentation, your look, and everything, because your look can influence the type of women that was going to show interest in you. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You have control. It's not luck. Because then the more that you deal with your own look, the better. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go in here and get some vittles. Or if I'm gonna be more of a class about it, some nourishment. If I'm gonna be more hood about it, some grub. Whatever the case, y'all. Anyway, that's all I got for today. And I'll get back with you. But really think about it. Really look around. Seriously. Like I always say, don't take my word for it. Go ahead and look around. Go ahead and look around and see what's up. See what's up. Find out for yourselves. Pay attention. When you see couples, really pay attention to them, okay? All right? Pay attention to them. Look at how they dressed. Look at how they dress, haircuts, everything. If you see a bunch of tats on them, jewelry, and the better ones are going to look alike. And like once in a blue moon, you're going to see a couple that look totally mismatched. Don't look at their face and just look at their clothes, shoes, clothes, all that little stuff. Pay attention. Don't be like some of these Bammers out here think it's all just the face. Trust me, women looking at more. So if you want to control like what type of women are finding you attractive, figure out what they like, and then you go for it. As long as you are good with that. As long as you are good with that, all right? So anyway, that's all I got for today, and I'll get back with you. Peace.